Entrepreneurial Edge is brought to you by Business Banking from FNB, because small ideas can lead to big business. FNB, how can we help you?
Welcome back to the Entrepreneurial Edge. I'm Chris Bishop. Now, if you have any feedback you'd like to send us, please drop me a line, email at entrep@cnbcafrica.com. Now, still with me in the studio, I have George Sombonos, founder of the fast food franchise Chicken Licken. Just a little aside thought here. I mean, what do you think of the entrepreneurs of today, the young people coming up, compared to when you were making your way as an entrepreneur?
Well, they've got a lot of assistance today that you never had 30 years ago. 30 years ago, some people thought you were crazy to even embark on such a venture. But today it's encouraged and there is assistance. So I think they have a better chance to do it, and there are many more opportunities now than there were 30 years ago.
I mean, that's one thing. I mean, I know as you said earlier, you're a reader of Forbes magazine. It seems that being an entrepreneur is a lot more, how do we put it, fashionable in this day and age than it was when you started out.
Oh, yes. I didn't even know that I was an entrepreneur. I actually just wanted to make a living.
And talking about your living now, this franchising that's going on, how many franchisees do you have at the moment?
Just over 225.
And one of the great criticisms, as you know, franchising is a big thing amongst entrepreneurs. A lot of people say, and I've been said to me before, they say, oh, well, you know, if you're franchising, especially even with food, you're making money for someone else. You're making money for the big company. What do you say to that?
No. You're making money for yourself. The company there is to assist you and set you up with a structure that works. And you benefit from the bulk buying. You benefit from the reputation. If you don't have this on your in front of your store and you're selling the same fried chicken, a third of the people are going to walk into your door. So the bulk buying helps you. Your royalty comes down to about 3.5%. And so that is not a lot of money if you are ensured a success. And if you follow the procedures, you'll make money. So that little bit you pay ensures your success, and people come to your door.
And just in the first half, we were talking about your famous secret recipe. How difficult has it been to kind of protect it down the years? People being what they are. No one tried to find out and replicate it?
People would try out. It's difficult to analyze because it's got many components. But if you go to an ethical supplier, and Robertsons are one of the few ethical suppliers in this town, they protect it. The chemist is a director. All the ingredients come by different pipes into a big vat, which is 2 stories high, and then it's mixed automatically by high pressure air, and then it's bagged. So very few people know the recipe, because it's different ingredients that come from different shoots into the big vat, mixed, bagged, and gone.
And during this recession, it seems to have hit everybody. How has it hit Chicken Licken and your franchisees?
In actual fact, we didn't have such a good year last year, in spite of the World Cup, because I think people spent their money on tickets and on booze, and were eating maybe a little bit less. This year, to our surprise, we're having a much better year. We're up about 22%. In actual fact, this year our turnover is going to be closer to 1.3 billion than the 1 billion we took last year. So you don't have to be a mathematician to work out that in 4 years' time we're going to cross the 2 billion mark.
Bearing all this in mind, what are your expansion plans for the future?
Well, we want to get into the major shopping centers in South Africa first. So we're concentrating and focusing on South Africa, shopping centers and drive-throughs, because those are the 2 big growth areas. Of all the chains in South Africa, Chicken Licken's got the highest potential to expand because we haven't touched the suburbs. We were in the townships, we've hardly touched the suburbs. We had a hard time getting into centres. Centres are letting us in. We're in Eastgate, we're in Menlyn, and more people have access to the product, and we're not a township-based organisation or a taxi rank organisation anymore. We're in the shopping centres, but we've got a long way to go.
Looking ahead, what are going to be the greatest difficulties, you think, as a business?
To keep up the momentum and keep on getting good franchisees that are prepared to work in their businesses and have their hearts in the business. So to get the right franchisees is quite difficult.
And talking about competition and keeping up the momentum, as you put it, I mean, your famous advertisements, the soul food and the fellow with the afro hair, everyone's seen it. Do you have any input into those sort of adverts yourself?
Oh yes, no, I control the advertising, and I've done it, from day one. I go to all the meetings, I go to the shoots, I go to the shoots at 7 o'clock with everybody else, and I leave at 12 midnight like everybody else. So I do it so that when I go into the studio, at least I know what to expect. I'm not cold. I know the footage and I approve it, but I give them free rein. Only 2 conditions: no racism, no sexism. But otherwise, those youngsters at my ad agency can do what they want.
And the actual idea of the 70s and the afro, like the Jimi Hendrix look, what gave you that idea?
Because of the soul food. We got into the soul food and the soul man, and the agency came up with the afro look, which worked quite well for about 5 years, but we moved on from that time, and the ads keep on getting better and better all the time. And I've been with the same ad agency now for 10 years, so there's a lot of continuity.
So also there was a time when you were present in countries like Zimbabwe and further afield in the continent, but you withdrew most of those. What exactly happened there?
Foreign exchange. Those countries had no foreign exchange. They couldn't pay for royalties, they couldn't pay for the spices. And at one stage we had a store in Zimbabwe that was the best Chicken Licken in the group. So we did exceptionally well, and we had about 4 stores, and it was a pity that we had to withdraw and concentrate here.
So where did you pull back from? Which countries apart from Zimbabwe?
Quite a few. We were in Mauritius, and we gave them a royalty holiday for about 3 years, and we had 2 stores, and as soon as they had to pay royalties, then they didn't want the franchise anymore. And in those countries you couldn't control the advertising. So if we ever go back, the 2 things that we'll make sure we control: the chicken, and Rainbow is planning to go into Africa and open chicken farms, so the standard will be there, and we would appoint an ad agency and control the advertising in whichever country. And I think there is a huge future in Africa, but we have to control those 2 aspects.
So when and where do you plan to spread across the continent, looking ahead?
I would think we would go to the countries where there's a lot of disposable income, one of them being Angola, Nigeria, and perhaps even Egypt.
So yourself, as an entrepreneur, I mean, obviously you're a very wealthy man now. Would you say that are you the sort of person who has his own plane, or you're the sort of person who goes to Monte Carlo for Christmas? What sort of a man are you?
No. I don't have a plane. I don't have a second home. I don't have a yacht. I go to work every day. Yes, I have one car, and that's all I need. And basically, after the first million, if your focus is right, the other millions mean nothing. The first million is the most difficult and the one you appreciate the most.
So what do you do when you want to let your hair down and have a good time?
I still go to New York.
That's
still
where it
go
all
to
began for you, wasn't it?
yes, I still go to food places, not as many as before. I select where I want to go. I still take pictures of people's menus and come back. Now I don't do it like before, where I used to take pictures and start running out of the store. Now I let my wife stand there as if I'm taking a picture of her, and I take a picture of the menu.
So you're still hands-on. You still know how many bottles are in all your stores. You still know how many people work there. You're still hands-on.
I know the decor. I okay the decor. I okay the menu boards. All those pictures come through me, and I okay them. When we take new pictures, I go to the studio. I don't sit there all the time, but I sign off all the pictures. So up to now, I'm fine, and I'm not planning to retire at least for another 8 years.
So tell me one thing. Do you ever look back and think, well, if I hadn't have mixed that special spices under my bed behind my father's back all those years ago, you might not be sitting here who you are today?
Yes, yes.
And what do you think when you think about that?
I can't believe sometimes how many customers walk to the store, and I look at them and I think, I started this, all these young people coming into the stores. When I look at Twitter and see how many people talk about Chicken Licken and hot wings, it's unbelievable. When I first looked at it, I even wanted to start crying, because I just wanted to make a living, that's all.
How do you want to be remembered as an entrepreneur in this country?
Somebody that was fair but firm and honest to the franchisees, and maybe made a lot of people wealthy and created a lot of jobs.
And your grandchildren, do you think they'll follow you into your daughter into the business?
Oh yes, my daughter is already nurturing my grandson, so that one day he will come into the business.
Well, maybe wish you and your family all the very best of luck, and can we pay tribute on the entrepreneurial edge to your hard work and enterprise. A truly great entrepreneurial story. That's George Sombonos, the creator of Chicken Licken.